Hello, I'm your reader Mary, here with you today, reading the New Bedford Standard Times. It's May 20th, 2025. Let's start with the weather. Today we'll have low clouds, a high of 60 and a low of 48. Wednesday it'll be cloudy and cool with a breeze, high of 55 and a low of 46. Thursday windy and cool again, but rain, high of 52 and a low of 47. Friday cloudy and cool with a shower again, high of 56 and a low of 48. Saturday will have variable clouds with a shower or two passing, high of 58 and a low of 45. Let's check out the front page. Our first story is out of Fall River. Ice cream shop moving to a bigger location. A popular Fall River stop for Instagram worthy ice cream creations will soon be rolling out of the city. But fans can still find their unique rolled ice cream and crazy milkshakes just a short drive away as Ice and Roll gears up to open its new Dartmouth home. Ice and Roll first opened at 4263 North Main Street in Fall River in July of 2021, and it quickly outgrew its limited storefront space. Now it's scooped up a spot in the Dartmouth Town Center on State Road. It'll be embarking on a new chapter by midsummer. Ice and Roll is the brainchild of Kayana Bethel, a Diamond Valley Regional Vocational Technical High School graduate and a former dental assistant whose sweet tooth led her down a different path than she had envisioned. The ice cream-obsessed Fall River native started Ice and Roll at age 22 as a side hustle. She had no prior business experience and said it just took off, way more than what I expected, and it's been really fun. The eye-catching menu draws folks from all over, with customers as far as Providence, Boston, and Connecticut seeking out their over-the-top offerings. According to Bethel, rolled ice cream is really big on the West Coast and originated in Thailand as street food. Inspired by her travels, Bethel wanted to bring this frozen dessert trend to her hometown. We had nothing fun or exciting, and I love ice cream. So I said I want to open up a rolled ice cream shop, but put an American spin to it and create my own recipe, she said. I want it to be fun, open late, and I want it to be a place where people can come and hang out. According to Bethel, plans for a Dartmouth site had been in the works for over a year before finally securing the long vacant spot near Barnes & Noble in the newly opened Crumble. Sites were already set on expanding to a bigger, more highly trafficked location and moving out of North Main within the year that Ice and Roll announced a temporary closure and renovations at the Fall River shop this March. Initial plans were to reopen the North Main location in time for ice cream season. However, Bethel said these plans changed as issues with the building arose, including a roof leak that caused water damage. That ultimately put a pause on renovations and accelerated moving plans. It just made sense. Maybe this is just time for us to move on over, Bethel said. Among the biggest perks of the new Dartmouth site, Bethel notes, is that it offers double the seating as Fall River, as well as outdoor seating. The space is currently a blank canvas that will be undergoing a complete renovation in the coming weeks. The interior will boast a modern concept, she said. We're not an average ice cream shop, so this is definitely going to be shown in the way the place looks. A very cool vibe, Bethel said. As far as the menu goes, Bethel said, you'll find all your Fall River favorites at the new spot and then some. Ice and Roll highlights include their, quote, crazy milkshakes. Top selling is ice cream served in a pineapple maganadas and an array of rolled ice cream specials that rotate in theme depending on the time of year. I like to get creative, play around with things, see how the customers respond, Bethel said. Down the road, Bethel said she would love to secure a liquor license to serve shaved ice cocktail creations. While the goal was to remain in Fall River, and preferably by the water, Bethel couldn't find an alternative location in the city. That doesn't mean the city has seen the last of Ice and Roll. She continues to offer ice cream truck service at community events in Fall River, where there are regular at 4th of July festivities and private events with the launch of their, quote, roll bus. Plans are also in the works for Ice and Roll pop-up at the Providence Place Mall. I would love to revisit coming back to Fall River with all they're doing with the boardwalk and the waterfront. Maybe there will be some commercial space available in the future. There's no opening date yet for her new location, but Bethel said she's aiming to have the new Dartmouth shop ready to open by July. Hours will be 12 to 1 a.m. Check their Facebook page or Instagram for updates. The Fall River Ice and Roll location is closed indefinitely, but won't remain empty for long. Sir Marie, the Haitian restaurant on North Main Street, located next door to Ice and Roll, will be expanding into its storefront space. Acushnet's top 20 employee salaries in 2024. More police officers made it into the top 20 list of Acushnet's highest paid employees in 2024 than in the previous 2 years. There were 14 police officers listed, including Provisional Chief Thomas Carew. There were 5 Acushnet School Department employees led by Superintendent Paula Bailey, and the only other employee to make the top 20 list outside the police and school departments was the town administrator, James Kelly. Who made the list in 2023 and 22? The 20 highest paid town employees in 23 included 10 members of the police department, 7 school officials, 1 member of the fire department, the town administrator, and the DPW director. And in 22, the list included 12 members of the police department, 5 school officials, 1 member of the fire department, the town administrator, and the DPW director. From highest to lowest in 2024, the top 20 went from $205,891.93 to $112,281.57 versus $174,056.34 to $101,881.68 in 23. The full list of 2024 Acushnet's top 20 highest paid officials is: first, Thomas Carew, $205,891.93, Provisional Police Chief. Keith Ashley, $193,821.17, Police. Paula J. Bailey, $191,524.01, School Superintendent. Danny B. DeAmaral, $181,868.86, Police. Adam J. Hebert, $180,799.54, Police. Matthew Mello, $156,183.10, Police. John Bolharino, $150,991.07, Police. Gary Coppa, $148,372.67, Police. Jeremy T. Fontes, $147,164.53, Police. Derek W. Cathcart, $146,982.76, Police. Ryan D. Hempel, $143,404.18, Police. James Kelly, $139,189.76, Town Administrator. Jason T. White, $126,374.26, Police. Courtney Soares, $126,009.65, Police. Kevin M. Martins, $123,326.17, Police. Patrick McIntyre, $121,443, School. Kevin K. Walsh, $121,017.44, Police. Patrick Missler, $119,874.28, School. Kimberly A. Betancourt, $117,288.52, School. Michelle Silva, $112,281.57, School. And still on the money subject, Quincy billionaire surprises Bridgewater State grads with cash. You might expect a commencement speaker to try giving graduates pearls of wisdom. This one brought cash. Telecom CEO Robert T. Hale Jr. surprised more than 1,400 Bridgewater State University undergraduates with envelopes of $1,000 cash at the Friday, May 16th commencement ceremony at Gillette Stadium. This represents how kind-hearted BSU is and how they're continually committed to giving back to their students, said accounting and finance major Regan Taylor in a video produced by the university, and rewarding us for the hard efforts we've put into our degree, and it makes me really proud to be a Bear. A previous scene shows her opening her envelopes with friends and flashing cash to the camera. Hale, founder and CEO of Granite Telecommunications, gave each graduate 2 envelopes with $500 in cash. The first $500 is for you, to celebrate your accomplishments, Hale told the graduates. The second envelope says give on it. Give that $500 to somebody or another organization who could use it more than you. Share in the joy of giving. Rob's gift embodies the spirit of service and leadership we strive to instill in our students, Fred Clark said. He's the president of Bridgewater State University. His example inspires our graduates to lead with compassion and purpose. Who is Quincy billionaire Rob Hale? BSU said that since Hale founded Quincy-based Granite Telecommunications in 2002, he's given away more than $400 million to cancer research, education, and community causes. His fortune has earned him a spot on the Forbes list of the world's richest people. The university emphasized its role in preparing students for careers in science, technology, and saying it educates the most teachers and STEM teachers of any university in Massachusetts. The school also highlighted a new way it makes plans to make education affordable. Starting in fall 2025, the Bridgewater commitment will cover the full cost of tuition and mandatory fees for in-state undergraduates from families earning $125,000 or less. Fall River man wins $25,000 a year for a life prize. Luck was certainly on the side of one Fall River resident this past week. Michael Kudo won a $25,000 a year for life in the multi-state Lucky for Life game after the first 5 numbers on his Quick Pick ticket matched those selected in the May 15th drawing. That's according to the Massachusetts State Lottery. The city man claimed his prize on Friday, May 16th at the Massachusetts State Lottery headquarters in Dorchester, opting for the cash option on his prize. He received a one-time payment of $390,000 before taxes. He said he plans to go on vacation with the winnings. The lottery release stated that was his plan. The winning ticket was purchased at 711 45 Coggeshall Street, New Bedford. Mustangs and More car show to feature classics, prizes, and live music. Empire Ford will host its 7th annual Mustangs and More car show on June 21st. According to a community announcement, the event runs from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Bristol Community College, 777 Ellsbury Street, Fall River, Lot 7. The rain date is June 22nd. Co-sponsored by the Mustangs of Massachusetts, the show is open to all makes and models. The first 100 entrants will receive free dash plaques, and attendees can enjoy free door prizes and entertainment by Max L. Kane. Refreshments will be available for purchase by Bristol CC. This event aims to attract families and car enthusiasts alike. They showcase classic cars and iconic Ford models. For more information or to pre-register, visit www.empirefordinc.com. That's EMPIREFORDINC.com /Mustang-Car-Show or email at info@mustangsofmassachusetts.com. Group estimates 27 Guatemalans taken into custody out of New Bedford. 3 more Guatemalan men were allegedly taken into custody by ICE in New Bedford last week, though none had criminal records, according to Adrian Ventura, executive director of Centro Comunitario de Trabajadores. 2 of the men were taken May 12th, Marvin Yobani Chitik, US, 30, and Justo Rufino Chitic Us 33. Ventura said they had been going to work at a seafood processing plant in Ocean's Fleet Fisheries in New Bedford. Marvin is in need of a kidney transplant and receives dialysis. He's being held in Burlington. Ventura said his organization had contacted the Guatemalan consulate to see that Marvin is receiving medical care and have been told he is. They have not heard any information on Justo other than he is also being held in Burlington. Neither had a record with the New Bedford District Court. The third man detained on May 15th, while he was driving on his way to work at Norpel, is also a fish processor in New Bedford. Ventura said his name is Andres de Leon, and he's about 48 years old. Ventura said they do not know where he's being held yet. He has a work permit and no criminal record, Ventura said. Still, they took him. Ventura estimated 27 people have been taken into custody in New Bedford, though he thinks that's probably a low estimate, since it includes only those they've received information about. An ICE spokesman did not immediately respond to a request for comment. And inside the paper today we have an explainer. What is temporary protected status? The U.S. Supreme Court allowed Donald Trump's administration on May 19th to terminate the temporary protected status of about 350,000 Venezuelans living in the United States. Trump has sought to end the status for Venezuelans, Haitians, Afghans, and others. Temporary protected status provides deportation relief and work permits to people already in the United States if their home countries experience a natural disaster, armed conflict, or other extraordinary event. The U.S. Homeland Security Secretary has the authority to grant TPS to people from specific countries in increments of 6 to 18 months. 2 months before the status expires, the Secretary must determine whether or not to renew it, expand it, to include new arrivals from the country, or terminate it. Congress created the program in 1990 after a spike in migrants fleeing civil war in El Salvador. While the status is temporary in nature, many designations have been renewed for decades. TPS does not offer a path to citizenship, leaving many people on temporary status for years or decades. During his first term, Trump's administration sought to terminate most TPS enrollment, part of a broader crackdown on legal and illegal immigration. The administration moved to end TPS for about 400,000 people from El Salvador, Haiti, Honduras, Nicaragua, Nepal, and Sudan, who make up the vast majority of those in the program. Federal courts blocked the effort, however, keeping the TPS designations in place throughout the Republican Trump's first term, ending in 2021. Joe Biden, a Democrat who took office in 2021, sought to preserve the existing TPS enrollment and expand the program to include hundreds of thousands of migrants from other nations. Biden granted TPS to people from Afghanistan, Cameroon, Ethiopia, Lebanon, Myanmar, Ukraine, and Venezuela, while expanding eligibility for Haitians and others. Venezuelans make up the largest group, with more than 600,000 eligible for protections by the end of Biden's term. In the days before Biden left office, then Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas granted an additional 18 months of TPS to immigrants from El Salvador, Sudan, Ukraine, and Venezuela, an unprecedented move apparently to help them remain in the United States after Trump took office. Some 17 countries had TPS by the end of Biden's presidency, up from 10 in 2020. Kristi Noem, Trump's Homeland Security Secretary, rescinded the Biden-era extension of TPS for Venezuelans a little more than a week after Trump took office. Noem said the new administration did not want to be bound by the last-minute Mayorkas decision to extend protections and wanted to root out Venezuelan gang members. She terminated TPS for about 348,000 Venezuelans in early February, putting them on a trajectory to lose deportation protections and work permits. By April, The rest of the roughly 600,000 Venezuelans have protections due to expire in September, meaning that NOM would make that decision in July. NOM has rescinded the Biden-era extensions of TPS for 521,000 Haitians so that the protections would expire in August, barring any extension. NOM decided in April to terminate TPS for 14,600 Afghans and 7,900 Cameroonians, the Department of Homeland Security said at the time. In a May notice, DHS said that the Afghanistan termination would take effect in July. Cameroonians are set to lose protections in June. The Supreme Court order on May 19 does not directly affect those other terminations, but could make lower court judges more likely to allow terminations to proceed, even if they are challenged in court. At least 4 lawsuits were filed challenging NOM's moves to strip TPS protections for Venezuelans and Haitians. A San Francisco-based federal judge in March blocked the Venezuela termination, saying that the administration's depiction of migrants as criminals, quote, smacks of racism. The Ninth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in April declined to pause the lower court's order. The Trump administration appealed to the Supreme Court, which on May 19 issued the order allowing the termination to go forward while litigation is ongoing. Conservative groups and Republicans have generally backed Trump's efforts to end TPS, saying it should be used for short-term relief and not renewed for decades. But Republican U.S. Representative Maria Salazar, whose South Florida district is home to Cubans and Venezuelans who oppose Venezuela's socialist government, co-sponsored a bipartisan bill that would grant Venezuelans an additional 18 months of TPS. Refugee groups sharply criticized the decision to end TPS for Afghanistan, saying it would send Afghans back to danger under the Taliban-led government. And now for some news briefs. Out of London, the leaders of Britain, Canada, and France threatened sanctions against Israel on May 19th if it does not stop a renewed military offensive in Gaza and lift aid restrictions, piling further pressure on Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The Israeli military announced the start of a new operation on May 16, and earlier on May 19, Netanyahu said Israel would take control of all of Gaza. International experts have already warned of looming famine. The Israeli government's denial of essential humanitarian assistance to the civilian population is unacceptable and risks breaching international humanitarian law. That's part of a joint statement released by the British government. It went on to say, "We oppose any attempt to expand settlements into the West Bank. We will not hesitate to take further action, including targeted sanctions." In response, Netanyahu said the leaders of London, Ottawa, and Paris are offering a huge prize for the genocidal attack on Israel October 7, while inviting more such atrocities. Out of Los Angeles, tariff truce will not spark cargo boom, the seaport director says. The head of the busiest U.S. port does not expect imports to soar after last week's tariff truce between Washington and Beijing that temporarily lowered the duty from 30% to 30% from 145%. You will not see a deluge of freight here at the Port of Los Angeles, according to Gene Soroka, executive director of the port, that is also number 1 for trade with China. What we'll see is a little bit of an uptick in bookings in Asia. Soroka said of reservations on cargo ships, "We will not be caught off guard." The rise will likely be linked to importers scooping up cargo that was manufactured before the U.S. imposed 145% tariffs in April, rather than to new orders that may not be ready within the 90-day reprieve. The Port of Los Angeles and the adjacent Port of Long Beach handle 31% of U.S. sea trade and are a barometer for U.S. economic activity. They handle everything from incoming toys, apparel, auto parts, to outgoing raw cotton and pet and animal feed. The coming volume uptick follows a sharp drop in bookings after the United States imposed on April 9th the 145% import duties on China. its largest marine trading partner. It takes a few weeks for the effects to show up at U.S. ports, so May imports reflect the escalation to the 145% tariffs. During the first 15 days of this month, 74 container ships arrived at the ports of LA and Long Beach. That's 11 fewer than usual. That's according to data from the Marine Exchange of Southern California. Brazil rules out 3 of 7 suspected bird flu cases. Out of Sao Paulo, the world's largest chicken exporter ruled out 3 of 7 suspected cases of the highly pathogenic avian influenza, commonly known as bird flu. That's according to a press conference on Monday citing lab test results. The government had been investigating 7 cases after the first outbreak was confirmed on a commercial farm in Brazil last week. According to updated information from the Agriculture Ministry's website, 2 of the cases still under investigation concern poultry raised on commercial farms, and 5 involve backyard flocks in Brazil, which sold some $10 billion worth of chicken products globally last year. All 3 negative tests related to samples taken from subsistence, non-commercial farms. Officials said under existing protocols signed between Brazil and trade partners, nationwide bans apply to poultry imports in case of a bird flu outbreak on a commercial farm. People are on high alert, Agriculture Minister Carlos Favreau said on May 19th. He was referring to the cases that are currently under investigation. Diagnosis propels Biden into the spotlight. Former President Joe Biden ended a half-century career in public office after a rough final year that saw him drop out of the 2024 presidential election amid questions about his age and fitness. And now he's returned to the national spotlight after it was announced he was diagnosed with prostate cancer. A Biden spokesperson said the former president has been diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer that's spread to the bone. Biden, 82, was diagnosed after experiencing urinary symptoms, and a nodule was discovered on his prostate, according to the statement. Now his plans for recent appearances on TV shows and political tours are on hold. He will give his first public speech since leaving the White House. He gave it on April 15th in Chicago as Trump approached the 100-day mark of his presidency. The former president criticized his successor's opening policy blitz. In fewer than 100 days, the new administration has done so much damage and so much destruction that they've taken a hatchet to the Social Security Administration. Biden's been doing a media blitz, making the rounds, attempting to rehabilitate his reputation ahead of 2 highly anticipated books. The books have concerns about his age and acuity that many believe hobbled the Democrats in the 2024 election. On The View, he rebuffed criticism that he waited too long to drop out of the race. And earlier this month, Biden told the BBC that ending the 2024 bid was the right decision, just a difficult decision. It was hard to say now, I'm going to stop. Things move so quickly, it made it difficult to walk away. Biden dropped out of the 2024 race and turned the Democratic nomination over to former Vice President Kamala Harris. Joe is a fighter. I know he will face this challenge with the same strength, resilience, and optimism that have always defined his life and leadership. That's a quote from Kamala Harris. This has been the New Bedford Standard Times. Today, May 20th, 2025. I'm your reader, Mary, wishing you good health, be well, and we'll talk again next week.